Welcome to In Tune with Your Immune System, Battle of the Bands. Your immune system is a complex group of organs, tissues, cells, and proteins that protect us from germs, infections, and disease. To set the stage for the Battle of the Bands, let's take a look at the major organs. The thymus. The thymus is located in the upper chest. Immature lymphocytes leave the bone marrow and find their way to the thymus, where they are educated to become mature T lymphocytes, also known as T cells. The liver. The liver is responsible for making proteins of the complement system. It also contains large numbers of phagocytic cells that eat bacteria in the blood as it passes through the liver. Bone marrow. The bone marrow is where all cells of the immune system begin their development, starting out as primitive stem cells. The tonsils. Tonsils are collections of lymphocytes in your throat that destroy bacteria and guard the entryway to our respiratory and digestive systems. Lymph nodes. Lymph nodes contain collections of B lymphocytes, B cells, and T lymphocytes, T cells, throughout the body. Cells congregate in lymph nodes to communicate with each other. The spleen. The spleen contains a collection of T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, and monocytes. It filters the blood and provides a site for organisms and cells of the immune system to interact. Blood. Blood is the circulatory system that carries cells and proteins of the immune system from one part of the body to another. Your immune system is like a rock band. When it's in time and in tune, the immune system is nearly unbeatable. But when the immune system is out of sync or missing some key parts, it doesn't perform very well. You need a couple key things to put together a great band. First, you have to have the right combination of talented musicians. Then, each musician must know his or her role and how to support the rest of the band. When all the players are working together, you can expect great music. When the whole immune system is working together, it's ready to rock by fighting off invaders and protecting us from infection. The immunos represent the immune system, and they're the good guys. Let's take a closer look. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the immunos. On lead vocals, the B cell.
I'm a B cell. I front the band. You can also call me B lymphocyte. My other B cell friends and I are specialized cells who develop from stem cells in the bone marrow. We're responsible for making your antibodies. When I'm ready to rock, I turn into a plasma cell and make antibodies called immunoglobulins. Antibodies get in the bloodstream and travel around the body. When they recognize a foreign invader, they attach themselves to it and start a complex chain reaction, alerting other parts of the immune system that they need to join the battle and help destroy the invader. I make 4 main types of antibodies, each a little different to provide its own advantage: IgG, IgA, IgM, and IgE.
On lead guitar, the T cell.
I'm a T cell. You can also call me T lymphocyte. Like the B cells, my T cell friends and I developed from stem cells in the bone marrow. When T cells are immature, we travel to a special organ called the thymus to get an education and become mature T cells. The T in our name stands for thymus. When we're mature enough, T cells leave the thymus and go to many different places of the immune system, like the spleen, lymph nodes, bone marrow, and blood. T cells have molecules on their surfaces that allow us to recognize antigens, which is another word for invaders. T cells are the band leaders of the immune system. Without them, the other immune cells cannot function. There are different kinds of T cells: killer T cells, helper T cells, and regulatory T cells. Helper T cells help B cells make their antibodies and help killer T cells in their attack on invaders. Regulatory T cells are a sort of thermostat for the immune system, turning off the immune response once an infection has been cured. Without regulatory T cells, the immune system will keep on fighting after the infection's gone and begin destroying healthy cells.
T cells are true guitar heroes that you can count on to hit all the right notes and give the immune system shredding power it needs to perform. On the killer keyboards, the NK cell.
NK stands for natural killer. Like the T cells, we develop in bone marrow and seek out and destroy viruses. But we don't have to go to school in the thymus to learn how to do it. Well, that's why we're called natural killer cells. NK cells attach to cells that are infected with the virus and inject them with a killer chemical mixture. Some people believe we even help prevent cancer.
Our virus-killing keyboardist plays all the right chords to blow out those viruses. On bass, the phagocyte.
You know that booming bass that completely engulfs you? That's kind of what I do in the immune system. Phagocytes ingest and kill microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. There are a couple different kinds of phagocytes: macrophages, monocytes, and neutrophils. We develop from stem cells in the bone marrow. Once we mature there, we take off for all parts of the body, especially the blood, spleen, liver, lymph nodes, and lungs. Neutrophils can get to the site of an infection in minutes. Monocytes circulate in the bloodstream and line the walls of blood vessels in organs, like the liver and spleen, where they capture microorganisms that are cruising in the blood. When monocytes leave the bloodstream and enter tissues, they become macrophages. Macrophages surround, engulf, and ingest invading microorganisms, starting a chain reaction within the cell that results in its destruction. Finding and ingesting invaders is even easier when they're coated by antibodies or complement. That's one example of how the different parts of the immune system work together.
She's a take-no-prisoners bass player and one hungry musician. And on the drums, complement.
They call me complement. I'm made up of 30 different proteins that work in rhythm to defend against infection and cause inflammation. Most of my proteins are produced in the liver. When I'm active, I coat invaders and make them easier for the phagocytes to ingest. Complement proteins hang around as inactive forms and need to be activated to join the band. When antibodies bind to an invading microorganism, they become activated, and I get to work. Besides coating invaders, making them easier for phagocytes to eat, I also send out signals to attract more phagocytes to the site of infection. They follow my beat to the battle and knock out the invading microorganisms.
And now, the competition. The invaders. These guys don't have the rhythm, harmony, or chops of the immunos, but they can pack one heck of a punch when they cut loose. And if your body's immune system isn't ready for them, look out. Let's take a closer look at this grungy group. The leader of this nasty band, on vocals and guitar, is the bacterium.
I'm a bacterium. We're the most abundant life forms on Earth. We're everywhere. We live in soil, water, organic matter, or on the bodies of plants and animals, including you. You can't get away from us. Not all bacteria are going to cause you problems, but you'd better be ready to protect yourself against the pathogenic bacteria that cause disease. When the skin or mucous membranes are broken due to disease, inflammation, or injury, bacteria can enter your body. Your immune system usually limits the impact bacteria can have on your health. But when the number of bacteria is overwhelming, or when antibodies, complement, or phagocytes aren't working right, you can get recurrent bacterial infections.
Singing backup for the invaders, the fungus.
I'm fungus. Me and other fungi have microorganisms such as yeast or mold. The fungus is among us. That's because you can usually find our fungal spores in the air and in the soil. Fungi are primarily pathogens, or germs usually controlled by your immune system. When your immune system is normal, the fungal infections are rarely serious. However, for someone with primary immunodeficiency, we can really whack your body out of tune. Phagocytes and T cells usually defend your body from my attack. But if your phagocytes are flawed or your T cells aren't working right, my fungal spores can multiply and cause serious and sometimes even fatal infections.
Watch out! If you have certain types of primary immunodeficiency, fungi can really beat you down. On the drums, making a terrible racket, it's the virus.
I'm a virus. Unlike bacteria, I can only survive and multiply within the living cells of your body. The way your body defends itself against me and my virus friends is different from how it fights bacteria. When I infect your cells, they release chemical signals that call other cells to help fight me off and prevent other cells from being infected. Sounds like a pretty good strategy, doesn't it? Maybe. But some of my virus friends have learned how to outsmart your immune system so that they can keep growing and infecting you.
Uh-oh. Sounds like our heroes could be in trouble. But don't worry, I think they've got some tricks up their sleeve. Let's see how our heroes respond to the nasty invaders when they're full force. Bacteria and fungi get coated with complement and antibodies once they enter the tissues. This coating process allows phagocytes to easily recognize the bacteria and fungi as foreign invaders. From there, phagocytes engulf the bacteria and fungi and destroy them. Looks like the end of the road for the invaders. With their shredding power, T cells move to the infection site after being alerted by the chemical signals emitted from the virus-infected cell or site of a fungal infection. The T cells hit the invaders hard and kill fungi and the virus-infected cells. While the T cells are busy killing the invading microorganisms, they are also sending signals to B cells to create more antibodies. That way, when we're exposed to the same virus a second time, the antibodies provide immunity against future infections of the same type. Like the immuno's predicament, if one thing goes wrong with the immune system, the body's resistance to disease can be thrown off key. Primary immunodeficiency can result with repeated or unusually severe infections occurring in people affected by the disease. So how do we get the band back in tune? How do we make things right again with the immunos and with our immune system? With therapies, that's how! Roadies to the rescue! Whether antibody replacement, prophylactic antibiotics, or one of the other treatment options, care is available to help build the immune system back up to being as close to normal as possible. One of the more common therapy approaches is antibody replacement. Antibody replacement can be delivered intravenously through a vein in a hospital or infusion center or at home, or subcutaneously infused into the tissues just under the skin, at home or in a clinical setting. It replaces the antibodies your immune system is lacking or missing, helping you feel better and become more resistant to disease. Antibody replacement is a way to return the immune system to some sense of normalcy, to get it back in tune. Other therapies, roadies, include antibiotics, interleukins, PEG-ADA, gamma interferon, bone marrow transplantation, and gene therapy. Now you know how to get the immunos back in tune and out on the road to health. Always consult your attending physician to determine the best path forward for you. The idea of getting the band back in tune is a powerful one. Paying proper attention to your immune system, keeping it in tune, helps you prepare for life's journey and obstacles, and can lead you toward a fuller, healthier life. With treatment comes empowerment. It's all about you, your lifestyle, your needs, your preferences. Make healthy choices and rock your own world. With your support system, family, friends, and the Immune Deficiency Foundation, anything is possible. The committed people of IDF and their dedicated partners have programs in place designed to help young people with primary immunodeficiency cope with the present and, more importantly, create a path toward leading full, healthy lives. IDF Common Ground is a great resource. Are you hooked on Facebook? Do you use YouTube? Twitter? Wouldn't it be great to have a place that has everything these sites offer, but is just for young people who understand what it's like to live with primary immunodeficiency? That's what IDF Common Ground is all about. It's an online place where you can connect, get creative, get personal, and just have fun. IDF also provides a wealth of educational materials and helpful resources on the IDF website at www.primaryimmune.org. Please take advantage of these wonderful resources. They were created with you and the primary immunodeficiency community in mind. Thank you for your time and attention. We hope you enjoyed the presentation and gained a better understanding of your immune system.